Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. We open with an exposition about an evil sorcerer called Nader. As he neared the end of his life, he sold his soul to the demons of the abyss, who transformed him quite literally into a book. His skin became the pages, his blood the ink, and his bones were fashioned into the cover, so I guess it was hardback. The Book of Vile Darkness was born, and anyone who looked upon it became corrupted or just generally unpleasant to be around. The kingdom of Karkoth was consumed by evil until a group of warriors called the Knights of the New Sun arose to do something about it. They were given amulets by the god of light Peller and used them to kick the crap out of any demons or people who looked at them funny. Followers of Nader dismantled the book, and after failing to locate it for 1200 years, the knights disbanded, believing it lost. Another 800 years later, in present-day Karkoth, a group of cosplayers are out playing Knights of the Even Newer Sun. None of these guys can wield any actual magic, and new recruit Grayson was hoping that he would become the first once he finishes giving the oath. He touches his sword to Peller's phallic-looking shrine but isn't imbued with any power, so goes off to cry about it. His very young-looking father Ranfin reminds him that if you want to hang out with the big boys, you need to stop being such a baby. Suddenly a random party of barbarian sorcerers emerge from the woods and kill everybody while Ranfin runs off and Grayson does whatever. He wakes up in the morning completely unharmed and touches tips with his god again, but no guidance is given. In search of his kidnapped father, Grayson travels to the nearest town and immediately finds the barbarians that attack them. They presumably just received a group rate with the local strumpet, so Grayson asks her if she overheard where they're staying. Carlotta refuses to help some stranger who just walked into her home without paying, so our hero whips it out. He tries to sell his amulet, but Carlotta recognizes it as her brother was also a Knight of the New Sun and doesn't have any more customers, I suppose. She takes the rest of the day off and helps our boy by going to a merchant called the Adventurer's Vault for supplies. I'm not sure why Grayson was going to sell his amulet, since he looted all of his fallen comrades, and we resupply for the journey ahead. Grayson buys a bag of holding, a rune of force, a wicked blade, and paragon armor, so our boy is at least level 11. Carlotta gives him a vial of poison in case the enemy tries to torture him, as I'm sure they'll let him take the time to drink it. She then brings him to a tavern and tells him to join a raiding party working with the barbarians in order to find his father. Grayson disguises himself by hiding his police badge and finds the crew is comprised of 4 villains looking for the cover of the book. They've been hired by the evil Lord Shathrax, who has his mouth sewn shut and a crystal lodged in his forehead that allows him communication with the sorceress. Akordia is a race called the Shadar Kai who can use magic and banshee scream, while the assassin beside her is Seith and just cuts people up. There's also a Goliath barbarian named Vimak who's probably the friendliest, and a Vermin lord named Bezz who is probably the most wicked. Grayson requests to join their evil fellowship, so Akordia tells him to kill a random person in the tavern to prove he's not a narc. Everyone quivers in fear, but fortunately some random with a lightning javelin comes out of nowhere, so our hero gets to remain innocent. Vimak gets a new weapon out of the ordeal, and our misfits set off on their adventure to find the cover of the titular book. They bicker the entire way like a bunch of Disney princesses until hearing a dragon nearby and going off on a side quest 2 minutes into the main. It's destroying a village and Grayson wants to defend it, but Akordia gives him a magical pimp slap because we don't do that kind of thing. The party just circle around to pass through the dragon's cave undetected, as hero is not something this group want to be called. Bezz uses his go-go gadget eyeball to check for any loot in the dungeon ahead, and I'm not sure if this spell has a name, but I don't like it. A trap slices it off, alerting the dragon to their presence, and the Vermin lord who caused all of this just scatters into a million bugs. Our Prince Valiant is knocked unconscious while the dragon sets the assassin on fire, but he's wearing so much armor that he just has to take it off. He then goes akimbo on the giant lizard's wings while Vimak skewers it with the javelin, all of which does nothing. Akordia tries bring down a land bridge on top of the dragon's head but is pinned by the claw, so Grayson leaps out, as I guess he just woke up. He takes one of her magical necklace bombs and throws it at the same location, bringing it down and crushing what's really a wyvern. Our party divide up all of the loot among them, and Vimak finds the chest that the assassin must first check for traps. Inside is a horn which is needed to find the vile book, while the only actual hero finds a bunch of still living villagers. The rest want to see blood, but Grayson convinces everyone to keep them alive so that the village will let them inside without a fight.
Open the gate!
The mayor of Little Silver Keep has no choice without facing public backlash but to open his gates to this group of deplorables. Akordia presents him with a rod of lordly might, while Vimak presents some local women with his own while paying them handsomely. Bezz insinuates that he really knows why Grayson saved the people but keeps his mouth shut because he has his own agenda. The Vermin lord then goes off and enchants a widow's ring with a vision of how the hungry dragon ate her husband. He then conjures a centipede and her child's teddy bear, and I'm not sure why he's doing any of this, I guess just to torment them. Meanwhile, the assassin drinks an invisibility potion and follows around some rich nobleman called the Keeper. When he unlocks the vault, Seith stabs the man in the back, doing double damage and gaining access to the town's treasure. In the local tavern, our hero catches the eye of an alluring bar wench because everybody loves a dragon slayer. Akordia gets jealous and politely tells the floozy to piss off before dragging Grayson over to her room for some sexy time. While she's trying to make herself look less murderous, Grayson puts on her diadem and has a vision of his father being tortured. He begins asking questions about his location, but they're all ignored by Akordia, who permits him to ravish her. Grayson tries hide his amulet among other things, but she threatens to kill him if he doesn't sleep with her, so we have a conundrum. Somehow he takes off his clothes without her seeing the symbol of Pellar and breaks his knight's oath by bedding a woman. Grayson wakes up covered in claw marks, but the sorceress also wields a bunch of cleric spells like Cure Wounds. When the party tries to leave in the morning, they find that the gates are sealed and are suddenly surrounded by soldiers. The mayor says that his treasure keeper had his throat cut, which is one of many inconsistencies, as he was stabbed in the back. Like when Grayson enters a door that's head height only for it to be 2 feet taller on the inside. Akordia uses her magical stranglers to choke the mayor until he opens the gate, but there's a standoff because he refuses. Grayson convinces everyone to calm down and returns half the treasure while keeping the rest as payment for slaying the dragon. It seems like a fine deal when suddenly the Vermin Lord blows up the mayor and chaos ensues, as he's not a very nice man. None of them are, and the villains slaughter all of the townspeople while Grayson sneaks the kids out through the sewers because he isn't a psycho. Again, the swarm of Bezz is the only one who knows about his good deed but still doesn't tell the rest of the group. The Shadarkai worries when he goes missing, as he must be awesome in bed, but Vimak says that falling in love with a human is pretty lame. When every last person in Little Silver Keep is dead and looted, Akordia uses her banshee wail to blow open the front gates. There stands her boyish man, who nobody even bothers to ask why he needs to wash all of the sewer funk off him. Or why he's even on the other side of the gate for that matter, as they just divvy up the loot and decide to part ways. Completely giving up on their quest to find the book, Akordia gives the horn to the assassin and invites Grayson to join her. She gives him a vorpal blade from the hall, and I don't want to say it's because he's so good in bed, but Seith had to pay his entire share for a broken horn. However, that night while everyone's sleeping, Grayson uses the poison to straight up murder Vimak and stick his corpse in the bag of holding. He tosses it into the river with all of the treasure so that in the morning everyone thinks that Vimak stole it and they can continue their mission. The assassin is angry that he doesn't have any payment for the horn and threatens to kill Akordia's boyfriend if she doesn't give it to him. Ironically, the worshipper of poison dies to a scorpion sting when the Vermin Lord saves Grayson despite knowing that he killed the Goliath. Seith slowly withers away and we continue on the mission like nothing happened until the trio arrive at the book's location. The horn turns out to be a key that summons a creepy little zombie girl called a slaymate, with creepy being an understatement. She begs the strangers for a taste of their blood to determine if they're evil enough, and obviously Bezz has no problems there. When she finishes sucking on his finger, she does the same for Grayson and he passes the test for premeditating a murder last night. However, one drop of the sorceress and the girl recoils in pain, as the taste of somebody in love is apparently disgusting. She summons her father, who skewers the Vermin Lord through the back and is just a suit of armor being worn by a ball of energy. It takes both of the sword-wielding lovers to defeat the helmet horror in a rather good bit of tandem choreography. Grayson stabs the vorpal blade through the construct and they recover the cover of the book from within the breastplate. The Mind Flayer Shathrax then teleports the 2 survivors to his castle in Shadowfell, having been monitoring Akordia through the diadem. His 2 slave women on leashes say out loud what he's thinking, and he gives Grayson the head nod of evil approval. That night the hero sneaks off to find his father in the dungeon, being drained of his blood to be used as ink for the book. While untying him, the son is caught by none other than the girlfriend, so he knocks her out with his magic that would have come in handy many times earlier. He explains to his father all of the evil things that he had to do to rescue him, but Ranfin is mostly angry about his son banging a witch. Upon looking out a window, they realize that this realm is floating in the middle of the sky, so they aren't able to escape. Ranfin begs his son to kill him so that his blood is rendered useless for the ritual, but Grayson suggests that they stand and fight. The amulet suddenly illuminates as the god of light finds him worthy, but before he can use its power, Grayson is knocked unconscious. The Vermin Lord is still alive and planned this whole thing, as the father's blood was never worthy to form the ink, but Grayson's is. He just become the first true knight of the new sun in 800 years, while Akordia is trying to comprehend being betrayed by her boyfriend. The hero is strung up in the courtyard and milked of all his writing material that's delivered by the vials to Shathrax. As he fills out the new pages, which if finished will surely do something not very good, Akordia takes the amulet from Bezz and returns it. Grayson escapes and channels the power of Pellar into Shathrax, which comes out his head like a sprinkler and destroys all of his followers. The only survivors are the father and son, as well as the evil sorceress, who has probably killed more innocents than anyone. She asks Grayson to join her, but he refuses because only a few hours ago she threatened to cut off his hand if he didn't feed a zombie. They're just too different in nature, so Grayson remains a celibate knight while Akordia teleports away to probably murder a puppy or something. The final scene shows the Vermin Lord buzzing overhead in insect form as he somehow survived. And the movie ends.